Hi, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, spacing in Replo. So spacing is basically padding and margin. And you can give anything padding and margin in Replo. That's one of the most amazing things about Replo. So this text component, this button, this container, and this image, they can all get padding and they can get margin. You might ask yourself, what's the difference between those two? Well, pretty simply, padding is the space inside of a component. So I can give right padding and left padding, top padding and bottom padding. And you can see here, this component is giving that space to the inside. So margin, on the other hand, gives space outside of the component. So you can see here, as I give more, you can see that purple area is the margin outside. So there we go, and there we go. So the interesting thing about margin is you can actually give margin negative value. So I can go all the way left and give it a negative value. You can sort of see it goes into the container. That's valid in certain situations. I will give you a real world example a little bit later. Okay, so the button, we talked about this. This can also have padding and margin. So we can give this padding and margin. One of the nice things is if you hit Option on a Mac, click, you will set that down to 0. We also have Windows shortcuts as well. And then if you hit Option and then you change the right, you will see that the left will also change the exact same way. And then same for top and bottom. Basically, holding down Option allows you to give the same value to complementary sides. And that works for both padding and margin. And then if you hold down Shift, you actually give the same value to all the sides, which is really, really convenient. So let's do Option to remove all that. I'm just Option clicking. Unit. So for example, we can use rem. So let's give it a 10 rem padding. And now you can see that's, I guess, what 10 rem is in this particular case. We can also give it percent. So let's give it a 3%. 3%. And that's what 3% looks like. You can also do view height, view width, sorry. VW. VW. So any valid CSS unit can be used in any of these components. Okay, let's go over to a real world example. So I'm going to go over to this, and you can see here I have a landing page. It looks okay, but there's some things we can optimize. So for example, let's go in here, and this container right here, you can see it has padding on right and left side. Let's give it a little bit of padding over here. Okay, cool, that's great. Actually, you know what? I want to give that 10% padding. What 10% does is just as the screen gets bigger and smaller, that 10% changes, whereas the other values, 40 pixels, will not change. So that's great. Okay, how about this dog? I like this dog here, but actually I want to move it down. So you can actually do that here. And if we really wanted to, we can move it all the way down here. So now it looks like he's saying this or something like that. I don't know. Let's see here. Let's say you wanted to give this a little bit of right justification. You can use layout, but you can also do that real simply with padding. There you go. So you can do it real simply with padding. Okay, or with margin there. This has margin, this has padding on the right and left, but let's give it some padding on the top and the bottom. There we go. And if we wanted to do just the top and the bottom, again, Option will change that. And so what if, for example, I like this, but what if I wanted this to have a little bit more distance between this and the next thing? So I could give it some distance there. So let's say I wanted this to go left a little bit. We can actually give this some margin over here, and we can push it this way. So that's another way you can move things around. You can also move things around in a variety of other ways with layout, etc. But that's a quick and easy way to use padding to get things in the exact place you want them. Okay, thanks.